Michael Sutton, who is one of the most amazing people I know as far as the way you navigate your life. You meditate, you do yoga, you eat clean. I mean, like, you got this thing down.
It took a long time.
Yeah.
It took a lot of decades, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually you find your groove and you go with it. And for me, the most important thing is the meditation.
Right.
Right? I know when I'm doing it regularly. I know how I feel inside. I know when I'm not. And when I'm out of practice meditation-wise, there's a shift. When I'm in the groove, things are going well.
Right.
So first thing in the morning, I recommend you take a few minutes.
So this is the little pointer you're going to give us today. Now, I didn't put any pressure on Mike, but I did say,
This time.
I want you, yeah, right. I said, I want you to enlighten us and give us something that we can do for 5 minutes in the morning to start out this new year that will change our lives. But
Right.
again, no pressure.
Right. Okay, so I've been thinking
Look how
about
he
that
blew
for
me
the
off just there.
I've been thinking about that for the last 15 minutes when you gave me that cue.
Yeah.
So there's movement I do also.
Right.
It takes longer than 5 minutes with the movement, but with the meditation, it can go from anywhere from 3 minutes to an hour, depending on my day, how I feel, and whatnot. But I recommend 3 minutes minimum.
And that the key now you were saying with this is that the 3 minutes has to be no monkey mind. You can't be thinking of 15,000 different things, which I'm really great at.
Yeah.
But so it might take you 3 hours to get to that 3 minutes, but you have a technique that works for you when you start to get that monkey mind, right?
Yeah. First of all, when you sit down and you try to do this, let's say for the first time in your life, and then you get up however many minutes later and say, this is not for me.
Right.
Pretty much everybody does that and says that. It's very few people who do not. To quit, you can't quit for the first 30 days. You just can't, because you'll never have any kind of indication of whether or not this is going to be good for you,
Right.
okay, or effective for you.
Because it takes 30 days to make or break a habit, they say, to
Yeah.
retrain the neural pathways in our brain to
Exactly.
create a habit.
Yeah. And when the other thing that happens if you used to do something regularly, in this case we're talking about meditation,
Right.
and then you stop it, and then you go back to it, and when you go back to it and you close your eyes and you're like, oh, it's not the way it used to be. Well, you're no longer in the present, you're in the past. Don't do that to yourself. It's another crazy thing we do, and it's part of the monkey mind. The monkey mind, the brain is always going to think. The mind is always going to think, okay? And you, fortunately, are not your thoughts. And when I say that, it's because most of the thoughts you have are ego associated, and you are not the ego, okay? So when you start to understand certain things, you have a better appreciation. The more appreciation you have, the more you'll be able to progress farther,
Right.
okay? So,
And it's really when you run your mind or your mind runs you. And
Yeah.
that's what this helps with.
absolutely. You read philosophy books and they say the same thing. We are much too lenient with our mind running and not taking control of the thoughts that are, flowing through,
Right.
right? So that's a practice. If you think about it, we taught ourselves to have monkey mind. No one taught us that. No one else taught us that. We taught us. So if we taught us that, we can teach the opposite. We can teach ourselves to settle it down.
Right.
We call that meditation. If you like to call that prayer, great, call it prayer. Just quiet your mind and go inside
Right.
every single day. Spend some time.
Great. Well, can you show me some techniques on how to do that?
I'm thinking I'm going to have you do this.
Oh, no. Me. Now, I once went to a Vipassana retreat for 10 days, which basically you wake up at 4:30 in the morning, you meditate. You go have breakfast, you meditate. You go have lunch, you meditate. Then you take a break, you meditate.
Yeah, so 10 hours
like,
of it.
Oh, I think it was more than 10 hours a day. It was more like 12 or 14 hours a day. Like
Yeah.
if you were sleeping, you were meditating. And after 3 days, I wanted to run screaming into the night. I just wanted to get out of there, and I forced myself through it. And I could sit for a full hour without thinking. But now,
Yeah.
that's all gone.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to practice on me.
Yeah. I'm going to talk you through
All right.
so that your audience can hear. What we have often been taught is the most difficult pose in yoga.
Oh, great.
So I'm going to have you lay down this way.
All right.
And this pose is called Shavasana. You've heard of it. I'm going to have you take your arms.
It's the relaxing part after a really strenuous yoga routine.
Practice, right.
Yeah.
So to come out of this pose, when you're in it for a while, normally longer than this time period, but I'm going to have you come out of this pose now. You start moving the peripheries, the limbs. A nice stretch feels good. You bend your knees, you roll to one side, and you bring yourself up.
That was nice.
That was a good job.
Got a little nap. Yeah. No, that actually felt really good when I laid on the ground. Although I'm always relaxed when I'm around you. You have that calming effect on people.
That's so nice.
It was easy to kind of drop in. But yeah, I've been in yoga classes where I'm in Shavasana and I'm just like fidgety. I have an itch here, my feet are uncomfortable, it's a detector to see just how present you are or aren't.
You brought up a good point when you're laying there and you got an itch on your cheek. You're in Shavasana. Shavasana means corpse pose.
Right.
You can't tickle, you can't scratch that tickle. Can't do that.
Just 'cause you
But what you find when you're in Shavasana, without thought, you go like this.
Yeah.
And after a while, usually months, you start to figure it out, realize. And then you go to that tickle and you feel it, you observe it. Interesting stuff happens, which you can find out when you try it.
Okay. So that is our beautiful pointer to start out the new year then, in the morning.
Absolutely, in the morning. Set the rest of your day.
Set up your day, 3 minutes of just complete calm in your brain. And like you said, if you don't get it on the first day, which most of us don't, keep doing it every single day. And then one day you're going to go into Shavasana, you're going to take that 3 minutes, or if you don't want to lay down because you fall asleep and you want to just sit in a seated pose like this and just 3 minutes, one day you're going to sit down and your brain's going to be quiet.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so great, Michael, and I know it's going to help my life to do this every day. It's a great reminder, and hopefully it helps yours out there. And again, if you don't get it on the first try, keep trying every day.
But thank you for coming over. I
Thank you.
very much appreciate it. It's nice to see you again. It's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's so great to see you again, and thank you for this beautiful advice.
You're very welcome, Kat. It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you so much for joining me today on this adventure into passionate living. And we hope you enjoyed all of our wonderful guests who were here today to inspire you to live your dreams and then to use those dreams to make a difference in the world around you. Make sure to join us every week on Tuesday and Thursday nights at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. on your true hometown station, WBBZ. As well, you can join us on our website at passionateliving.com and on our YouTube channel, Passionate Living TV. And thanks so much again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week on an amazing journey into passionate living.